Welcome to Final Play Sports. I'm your host, Pete Lubar, and today we're talking Mountain West basketball. Week 14 is now complete, and the race took a decidedly red turn Sunday as the New Mexico Lobos beat the Utah Aggies for the second time this season in a close-fought game in Albuquerque. The Lobos overcame a 10-point second-half lead to overtake the Aggies, increase that lead to about 8 points. The Aggies' hot three-point shooting down the stretch tied the game with about a minute to go. Lobos made some free throws and blocked the final shot by the Aggies and won the game. The Lobos were shorthanded for the affair with third leading scorer Mustafa Damzil out for the game with plantar fasciitis. And they lost during the game top six-man C.J. Nolan. He played about 7 minutes in the first half and was concussed on a foul and was out. False Love led the Aggies with 27 points. The win gives the Lobos a 2-game lead in the conference standing with 5 to go for them. The Lobos do have 3 tough road games remaining, playing Boise State this week and then next week San Diego State, and ending the final week with Nevada. So all games that could be lost, so I don't think the conference race is over yet, but certainly New Mexico in the driver's seat with a 2-game lead over Utah State and 3.5 over both San Diego State and CSU. New Mexico is 2-0 against Utah State and 2-0 against Colorado State, so any tiebreaker would go to the Lobos that are now 1-0 against San Diego State with that game upcoming next week. The Ute fans were predictably upset with the refereeing for this game as the final foul count was 29-15 in favor of the Lobos. Numerous Aggies were in foul trouble in the first half. The Aggies only shot 16 free throws but made 13 of them, 82% or something like that, really good. New Mexico, however, was 27 of 34, so 14 more free throws. And I watched the game. I didn't see any more bad calls than usual from the MD Mountain West refs, but not having universally despised Vern Harris calling the game was helpful. This was business as usual for the Lobos, who are 16th nationally in free throws. They have 3 guards who drive and get fouled, and a couple of big men who have moves and get fouled inside. And so it's not unusual for New Mexico to get fouled a lot, and sometimes they make a lot. This was a good game for them, but last game they missed almost half their free throws. Utah State took 26 shots from three-point range, which is 45% of their 58. UNM took about 37% from three-point range. It was on their season average, but I felt like the game, Utah's zone kept New Mexico sort of outside, and New Mexico ended up shooting more three-pointers than I typically would expect to see from a New Mexico team. And so also, Utah State for the season is 114th with an average of 24 three-point shots a game, and New Mexico is 266th in the nation with 20.7. So it was a pretty typical game. New Mexico drove and kept driving inside and getting hacked, and Utah State shot a lot of balls from outside and didn't get hacked as much. And as a result, the foul situation looked different, but in my opinion, it was pretty good all in all. Ironically, the Lobos, who going into the game were first in free throw defense, but they did a poor job of defending against the Aggies. Utah State hit 13 of 16 for 81%. And I have no idea what this statistic is or how it's calculated, but the poor effort by UNM against Utah State dropped them to number 2 in the nation. They hold their opponents to 65% free throw shooting. It's like the Lobos weren't even trying to defend the free throw. And that's a little disappointing for a team that's so good at it, but nevertheless, they're still one of the tops of the nation at defending free throws, however that's calculated. Both CSU, I'm going to bring up the Mountain West standings now. Both STSU and CSU remain in the race. They're just a couple of back. It's going to be really interesting for seeding. They've all got games against each other coming down the stretch. Last 5-6 games for some of the teams, and so we'll see what happens. But right now, it looks like the top 5 teams are sort of locked in. So if you look at New Mexico, Utah, San Diego State, Colorado State, and Boise, all 5 losses or better. And then UNLV's already got 7 losses, so they're at 8-7, and Nevada is 7-7. Those teams 6 through 11 will play in play-in games on Wednesday at the Mountain West tournament. So unless something drastic happens, it looks like that's going to be the order of finish. From a net standpoint, the Mountain West is doing okay still. UNM has moved up to 37th in the country. Utah State is right behind them at 38th. Boise's at 48. San Diego State is at 50 right now. And Nevada 69 and CSU is 70. So from a bracketology standpoint, New Mexico and Utah State right now, and this is through last Friday, so it doesn't take into account this weekend. We'll get those tomorrow. New Mexico and Utah State are 9 seeds right now. San Diego State is an 11 seed, one of the last 4 in. Boise is just outside in the next 4 out, and so we'll see how they do based on their loss this weekend. They do have a great chance against New Mexico to gain some points, and if they can beat New Mexico on Wednesday. So, 2 or 3 teams are going to make the tournament. 3 or 4 teams, I guess a 4th team could make it if San Diego State plays well down the stretch and they make it into the tournament. You got New Mexico, you've got Utah State. New Mexico's close to a lock, I'd say probably 85% chance of making the tournament at this point. Utah State's a little bit lower, and San Diego State is at the bottom of that, but has games against Utah State and New Mexico upcoming. So they've got a reasonably good chance of moving back up the field a little bit. But you think about the Mountain West tournament, which is now 3 weeks away, and really any of 7 teams could win their way in. So New Mexico likely will be the top seed and will be the favorite. However, New Mexico would have to play the winner of the 8 seed versus 8 versus 12, I guess. And the 8 seed and 8 seed is or 8 seed plays 9 seed in the tournament. Sorry, and that's San Jose State and Wyoming right now. And New Mexico's lost to San Jose State already this year, and they've been behind in both games that they played against San Jose State and both games they played against Wyoming. And so those games will not be easy for New Mexico. And then you've got somehow the winner of probably Utah State and San Diego will get there. But you look at CSU, could have a great run in the tournament. Boise certainly could. They've got a great player in Degenart. UNLV is always difficult and can be really tough at home. And then you've got Nevada, who's playing much better. They started the season 0-4. They're now 7-7, so 7-3 in their last 10 games, and certainly could be a problem in the Mountain West tournament. So a lot going on. I've got my tickets booked for the tournament already and plan to be there, and hopefully I can work myself into a press pass and be able to comment daily on what's going on behind the scenes. So hope you all enjoyed this segment. If you did, please subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. Subscribe to my YouTube page, and if you want to contact me, my contact information follows this video. Thanks, and have a great day.